Super Rugby, round number 7, folks. Teams are out for the teams which are playing this weekend. You may notice there's no Hurricanes, no Crusaders, no Highlanders, and no Reds on the board. Those teams are on the bye, so it's 2 games on the Friday, 2 games on the Saturday this week. So a little bit more free time on our hands, a little bit less Super Rugby action, although if you want to check out Sam Whitelock, he's announced his retirement. He's also on NZR Plus talking about his career. I'll put a link down in the description to that. It's pretty touching stuff, actually, where he talks about like how his literal first touch of the ball when he was an All Blacks debutant was to score a try, and how he thought he might be going to get red carded in that 2015 final. But yeah, check that out down in the description. For the rugby which is on, the first game on the Friday is the Blues taking on the Western Force. The Blues still flying pretty high. Their record thus far has been pretty good. The only team that's been able to get one up on them is the unbeaten Hurricanes. They're coming off a pretty big away win, if you want to call it that, over Moana Pacifica. They've made a few changes. They got the return of Dalton Papali'i as captain, which is a bit of good news, seeing as they have got a few guys like Perofeta, Talea, Christy Tuipulotu, Sam Darry. All these guys are kind of out injured, but the return of Papali'i is certainly a welcome one. Harry Plummer is going to run the show at 10 this week in the absence of Perofeta. He is up from the bench. Corey Evans is switching to number 12. Funaki is also going to get a crack at the number 9 jersey with Christie being out. But maybe one of the more exciting names for Blues fans is the sight of a Cashmore on the bench. It's Lucas Cashmore, the nephew of former Blues man Adrian Cashmore. So he's only 21 years old, going to get his Super Rugby debut if he comes off the bench. Been playing NPC for Bay of Plenty, so congratulations to him if he comes off the bench for that one. For the Force, obviously the season has not gone fantastically well thus far. They'll be hoping for a slightly drier weather than what they experienced over in Fiji last week, but good news for them is they've been able to keep the squad kind of relatively stable. They have put Sam Carter, the kind of veteran who was a late acquisition for the Force in terms of their roster. He is up from the bench to start this week, so that's a good bit of experience. Max Bury is there at fullback for this one, also likewise kind of up from the bench, but same 9-10 combo with Nick White captaining the side. Ben Donaldson is still there. Front row is still Coxon, Horton and Medrano. So yeah, a bit of stability you would think is potentially what is needed to build that kind of cohesion level with these guys, although there are a few new names on the bench. In particular, Henry O'Donnell will get his Super Rugby debut if he comes off the bench as well. And there's some excitement on this Force side as well. I mean, Tia is only behind the likes of Corey Toole and Josh Morby in terms of clean breaks this season, so he is right up there. And with the Blues missing Mark Telea, who's their top guy for carries, top guy for tries, top guy for defenders beaten, the Force has still got an uphill battle, but they'll be putting their best foot forward for that one. The second of the Friday games sees the Rebels taking on the BRUvWAR, which is an interesting one because both these sides have got the same record thus far with 3 wins, 3 losses. But the BRUvWAR, they only win at home. 3 home wins, 3 away losses, and they are away in Melbourne to this one. So they need to see if they can find some form on the road, and the Rebels will be looking to secure, or at least put themselves in the best contention to secure a playoff spot for the first time in their history. Rebels have been able to keep things stable in the front row with no changes, and Talakai is interestingly going to captain the side from tight head this week. Josh Cannon was also up from the bench. Angelo Smith switches to blindside this week, and Tuilema switches to number 8. Vaihu is back in on the left wing, and Darby Lancaster, who scored in his first ever Super Rugby appearance last week, he switches wings to the right wing for this one. Still no Andrew Callaway, which is a bit of a disappointing one because he's been one of their more kind of attacking-minded weapons this Super Rugby season. The Rebels have outscored the BRUvWAR thus far in tries, so maybe that is one thing that puts them in good stead. They've had 24 to the BRUvWAR 20, but when you look at this BRUvWAR backline, man, they've got some proper weapons. Massey has 6 tries. That is first equal in Super Rugby thus far, same as Matt Fassler and same as Corey Toole, so a proper weapon. Ravu Tamanda is the top guy for defenders beaten in Super Rugby this season, so there's a lot of attacking-minded players in that Fiji and BRUvWAR side, which maybe is no surprise to anyone. Ikanevere has also been cleared to play after copping that red card last week, so the review process that went on in the background has let him be cleared, so that's a bit of good news, a boost for them. Dean Alangi is also back in the number 8 jersey this week for the drill, which is a bit of a bolstering one as well. Those are your 2 Friday games. 2 Saturday games. The Chiefs Chiefs up 1 against Moana Pacifica. Chiefs will be disappointed to have kind of felt the wrath of a resurgent Crusader side last week. They were the first side to drop a result down there, although Christchurch traditionally has been a pretty hard place to go in Super Rugby, and the Moana Pacifica boys will likewise be looking to put in a better performance as they copped a bit of a big result from the Blues last week. For the Chiefs, they got Ollie Norris starting at loose head, and he's going to be getting his 50th Super Rugby cap, so congratulations to him. And likewise, with Nanai Saturo shifting to fullback and getting a start, he's also on his 50th cap, so big achievement for both of those fellas. Also, Damian McKenzie's return. Top points scorer in Super Rugby still. Will anyone pass him this season? Kind of remains to be seen, but that is certainly a good guy to come back. But then the rest of the squad has been largely changed. Tahuri Orangi is in at number 9. Satiti in at number 8. Finau in at number 6. Vai in at number 5. So a bunch of changes, and then also a bunch of guys up from the bench as well. The likes of Daniel Rona, he gets a start this week. Jimu Tupo gets a start. Ruben O'Neill gets a start. Simon Parker gets a start. So it is a much changed Chiefs side than the one that went down to Christchurch last week. Josh Lord is out injured, unavailable unfortunately, and Luke Jacobson and Sean Stevenson are both on All Blacks rest. So yeah, a bit of rotation needed for the squad. For Moana Pacifica, they are obviously looking for a bit of a bounce back, and they have changed the squad accordingly. Maybe even more changes than the Chiefs. I haven't counted them up, but Brighouse is going to get a start after being on the bench last week. Sukopi Kepu going to captain the side of Tighthead this week after being on the bench. Taulangi is going to start in the second row. Papunui is going to start at number 6. Nico Jones is getting his first start of Moana Pacifica season this year at number 7. Good to see him back. Samisi Paya is getting a start. Malani Matavao is getting a start. William Havili is getting a start. Goodness me, the amount of changes. Coach Tana Umanga must be looking for something different from what he saw last week. Good to see Karan Tamofalao getting a start, because he does seem to be a real gas man weapon. He's going to be at fullback for this one. And then you've got Mausia, the Tongan international, who will be getting his Super Rugby debut from the bench if he comes on. And they've also got Miracle Failangi back from injury, so that's a bit of good news for the Moana Pacifica boys. But they'll need to score some tries. They've only had 15 or 16 this Super Rugby season. The Chiefs are at 25, so yeah, one would think a bit of an uphill battle for them. And then the last game of the Saturday games, the last game of the round, sees the Brumbies, high-flying Brumbies, taking on the Tars. The Brumbies maybe looked a little bit lackluster at the very start of the season, but they seem to have shaken off pretty much all of that rust thus far. They got a 5-1 record, which, barring the Hurricanes, is one of the best records in Super Rugby this year. And the Waratahs have got the opposite record. They've been close, but at some kind of key moments have had issues closing games out. James Slipper is going to become the most capped Super Rugby player from Australia when he starts this weekend. So big congratulations to him. That is an absolutely massive achievement. So I think it's going to be his 178th appearance. So that is a massive, massive, massive achievement. Billy Pollard's going to get a start at hooker with the long-term injury to Lockie Lonergan. And they've also made a couple of changes in the forward pack, with Nick Frost getting a start and Tom Hooper in an open side this week. So kind of a couple of blindside guys, really, with Hooper and Valentini both playing alongside each other. But the same 19 combo with Lonergan and Lolosio. Lonergan captains the side this week. Kind of same. And then we'll get to see Jack Debrasini for the first time this Super Rugby season if he comes off the bench. And for the Tars, they had a couple of guys pull out late last week. So Charlie Gamble missed out, Ned Hannigan missed out, and Angus Bell missed out. Angus Bell is back in at loose head, so that is a bit of good news. Harry Johnson-Holmes also gets a start, so it's 2 new props compared to the side that played last week. The rest of the side is relatively stable. It's good to see Lalakai Foketi getting a start. Remember, he had a pretty serious injury in training not too long ago. He was rushed to hospital, but he was on the bench last week, and now he's getting a start, so that's very good news. Joey Walton switches to the number 13 jumper. Same 19 combo with Gordon and Ed Med, so both sides captained by their halfbacks this week. Theo Fourie and Teddy Wilson come into the 23 after missing out last week, and Izzy Parise drops to the bench. But yeah, just the 4 games on this week. You guys let us know your thoughts. How do you reckon they are going to go? And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.